Alrighty, friends, welcome back. So yesterday I did a video reacting to the Sabaton song Hearts of Iron. I mentioned another song in that video, and that's what we're going to be covering today, but first things first, welcome to the channel. I hope you guys are enjoying. I know you guys like these reaction videos, that's why I'm kind of doing a little more of them than usual. Sorry, let me just... Okay. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. If you are returning or first time viewing as well, please like, share, and comment. I do enjoy doing these videos. Sabaton, these songs Sabaton do have such history behind them, and it's so fascinating. So today we're going to be discussing the song The Last Battle from Sabaton. Now, The Last Battle centers around an incident that happened May 5th, 1945 in Tyrol, Austria, which at the time was part of the Third Reich. At this castle was being held multiple French high-profile prisoners, including the premier during the Munich Conference, Edouard Daladier, the premier during the war, opening month in 1941, Paul Renaud, Maxime Wegerer, Maurice Germelin, a bunch of other ones as well, including Charles de Gaulle's own sister, because of her relation to de Gaulle and also her opposition to the Vichy regime. So these French high-profile people have been being held at this castle for quite some time, and they were under guard by SS. But at this time, May, it's after who took himself out, and there was an order given out by the SS High Command that all the prisoners were to be executed without question. But what had happened was, with the advancing American soldiers, the Germans were not confident that, one, they could hold the castle, and two, they had enough men. So in the middle of the night, they actually fled the whole they literally fled the castle, but they were going to get more men. So now we enter our three heroes here. You have John Lee of the 12th Armored Division, Harry Basse of the 142nd Infantry Division, and you have Josef Gangle. Now, Josef Gangle was an Austrian German soldier. He was from Austria. He was nearby, and he decided that enough was enough. He was one of, as I mentioned yesterday, in the end of the war, these guys were done. And some people, like Vank yesterday or Gangle, were looking to regain their honor. Because if you think about the society before the Nazis came in, it was a military society. It was about honor and duty and things like that. So these gentlemen Gangle wanted to regain his honor. So he met up with the two Americans, and they decided that they would go to Castle Itter together. When they got to Castle Itter, they found it abandoned. There were no... Gangle knew that the prisoners were there, and he was hoping to free them, which he ended up doing. But he also would find out that the SS were coming back with about 200 men. So at this point, they were waiting for more American reinforcements to arrive, but also they needed to protect these prisoners that were in this castle. So the song The Last Battle is mainly about that. It's about the battle over the castle, and I'm going to, like always, use a different video. As I always say, I don't own the rights to any of this. I'm always going to put the links to the people who made the videos, and I always put Sabaton's links. I make nothing from this. I just think it's a fascinating story. So with all that said, let's get to it. Alrighty, so here we go. So this is Sabaton's The Last Battle. I've actually used videos from A.S. Cotter before. He makes great stuff. But, so like I said, this took place in Tyrol, which is a province of Austria. It's kind of right above Italy. For those of you that have ever played like Napoleon Total War or anything, Tyrol's often a region you have to take to secure your path towards Austria. But, yeah, so we're going to get right into the song, and here we go. So you saw them say Jenny at the gate. Jenny was the name of the tank that they were using to defend the castle. So pretty much what they did was they set up the tank at the mouth of the castle, kind of like a artillery piece to hold, and then they deployed themselves across the rest of the castle to fight. You're going to see in the video, but there is a little bit of a tragedy to this, unfortunately. And real quick, that's true. The French prisoners actually fought side by side with the American and German soldiers. This is actually one of the few battles that Americans and Germans fought side by side with, which is, again, it just tells you how done the regular German soldiers were with the Nazi regime. There's this thing which Sabaton also has a song called Wehrmacht. It's about the mythos, this myth of the White Wehrmacht, which is this idea pushed by people like Heinz Guderian and other high-ranking field marshals that the Wehrmacht had no idea what the Nazis were doing, which is completely incorrect. The SS would come in right after the Wehrmacht would clear an area and they would start collecting people. So it's not true at all. It was just, again, I said earlier about that honor thing. These guys were trying to regain some honor. But Gangle, there's no real evidence that he was ever a fervent Nazi. So, you had these guys that were just like, we're so sick of this regime. We're so sick of these guys. Look what they brought us to. Let's do this. And they gave the French prisoners weapons. And the French prisoners fought side by side with the Germans and Americans. So this man's supposed to be Gangle. What ended up happening to Gangle was there was only one casualty, one death at Castle Itter, and it was Gangle. Gangle had seen that Paul Renault, the premier during the war, was being pinned down, and at this point, his mission was to save these prisoners. So what he did was he went from his protection, ran out to try to get to Renault to save him, and he was actually killed in the process. He was the only death at the Battle of Castle Itter. All right, I like that though, but yeah, none of the prisoners were killed. They held off the SS long enough for American troops to come, but unfortunately Gangle was the only one killed. A few other men were wounded, but he was actually he's one of the few German soldiers actually remembered, given a place of remembrance from World War II. They actually built, I believe they built a monument to him for what he did, and also they've named streets after him because again, he didn't have to go. The war was over. The war was about to end. He could have, like I said yesterday about Venk, he could have just sat by, let the Americans come in, do what they had to do, but he knew that had he done that, these French, and there were Austrian prisoners as well, but he knew that mainly these French prisoners were not going to be alive if he said nothing. So he went to the Americans, told them, and they went and they held until American reinforcements came and defeated the attacking SS troops. All right, so that is the Battle of Castle Itter. So, like I said, this is, Sabaton does these songs, and, Sabaton has been called a controversial band sometimes because they have done songs about Battle of Castle Itter, Hearts of Iron. They have a song called Rise of Evil, which is all about the rise of Adolf Hitler. They've also been told that they are, like, racist because they glorified Carolus rocks, and apparently in Sweden that's kind of, I don't know, but these are stories that no one really knows about. One of my first videos on this channel was actually because of Sabaton, because of their song Attack of the Dead Men, which is about the Battle of Oswiec Castle in World War One. But the Battle of Castle Itter, it was this moment that you had Americans and Germans come together and fight for what they both knew was the right thing to do, and they fought against a true evil together, the SS, and they did save everyone they went to save, even though, like I said, Josef Gangle did lose his life. I thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed that. This is definitely a new, I usually don't do a lot of reactions at once, but, you guys seem to like them. So our next video is actually going to be a new series I'm doing called The Marshals of Napoleon. And we're going to start with a very special marshal. But if you enjoyed that, please make sure you like and subscribe. If you're new to the channel, if you're returning, please like, comment, and share. And, the likes do help the algorithm. If you do them, they actually definitely get my videos more attention. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining, and we'll see you in the next one.